Away fight for him, because Mannion has really brought so many supporters for his first pro fight in Britain. Well, unquestionably, the real test now for Errol Christie. The southpaw Sean Mannion has actually not been put down. He's been stopped through injury, and he fought for the World Championship against Mike McCallum. That was at light middleweight, 11 stone. And he's in at 11.7½ tonight. So let's see now whether Christie can raise his game as he promised against a man who at least has made number 7 in the light middleweight WBA rankings, but now up at full middleweight. And he's on a winning run. He's won his last 8 fights, 4 inside the distance, Mannion. And he has Angelo Dundee working in his corner. And I tell you, to call Angelo a mere trainer is like referring to the other Angelo as just a stonemason. Well, he's come out nice and sharp, Christie. Jim White and I have seen him on, I think, all his pro fights except those in the States. And he's sometimes come out hanging his chin out a little bit and maybe believing his own right-ups, Jim, but he looks a bit concerned and tight, doesn't he, now?
Yeah, I think he realises how the importance of this match. That was a good right hand from Christie then. See, Christie has to come into this fight expecting a long contest because Mannion is very tough. But Mannion doesn't have the boxing ability to trouble him, and he hasn't really the power to trouble a good middleweight. So it's a good chance, actually, for Christie to look good and get himself into the world ratings.
Yeah, 19 is the best he can make at the moment, Christie. But when you've got the governor at the top, Marvin Hagler, everybody's second best to him. As I say, I saw the Sean Mannion-Mike McCallum fight in New York when Hagler defeated Hamsho on the same bill, and he really hung in there. He got well beaten by Mike McCallum, but he stayed the full course. As I said, all the encouragement the moment Mannion does something, the crowd are with him. Tremendous support. And as we've seen so many times with Barry McGuigan's support, the Irish turn out for their man all right. A lively start then, the scheduled 10-rounder. Fought a lot of southpaws, Christie, so the right-hand forward style should not bother him too much. But depends how this fellow does it, though. That's the answer to that. And there's the statistics then for Christie. He's living in London most of the time and now just changed trainer. Who's in the corner with him there, Jimmy Tibbs. And the two he lost was to Joseph Sayes and Mark Kaler. And there we are, whispering in the ear, Sean Mannion. And the man in the centre there's Angelo Dundee. And there's his record. And most of his work's done really in Boston. And as they say, Connemara in Ireland is the nearest town to Boston anyway. So round 2 then, and a lively start between Christie and Mannion. Just carrying a little bit of scar tissue around the face now, Sean Mannion, and I hope that will stand up okay. Had a bit of a trial last time up, Christie, Jim, against Adam George, which went the distance, an American. But he looks a bit sharper to me for this one.
Yeah, well, George was a very slippery opponent, but Mannion's a little bit different. He's not quite as easy to hit as maybe most of us felt. He pulls his head back out of trouble quite. See, he looks as though he's been caught by Christie's jab, but he's not. He's got a fair defence, Mannion.
Burying his punches well there, Christie inside. Well, he promised he'd try and look the old Christie, and at the moment he is, but he's certainly got to still tuck the chin in. You can't risk it with this fella. Ellis had 45 fights, knows his way around. Oh. Well, I think the Christie support now is coming in now, Jim. They're trying to give him some help.
Yeah, well, Christie's work is good at the moment, but I'd like him to keep in his mind this is liable to go a lot of rounds, if not the full distance. So Mannion is known to come on strong towards the end of tough fights. So Christie's going to have to hang on to plenty of steam for the later stages, but this is good work from Christie.
He's got that American style going for him now, Christie. Remember, he trained there in the Tommy Hearns camp in Detroit for a long spell, and he's putting his punches together well. Jim Watt and I have, well, we've been a bit hard on him at times because he's often promised more than he's produced, but at least he's trying to do that tonight. And as he's always said, he could rise to occasions. Well, he nearly did it with Mark Taylor. He had Mark on the deck, but the old West Hammer went in and steamrolled him and finished him in the 8th. But it looks as though he could be in a little bit better condition than he was for that one. Oh, what a good variation of punches there. Getting right through the Irishman's guard. As we get the countdown clock for the end of the second. And a really lively middleweight scrap here at Alexandra Palace. So, with that then, let's have a word with one of America's top managers there, Lou Duva. And he'll be talking in a minute to Gary Newbon.
I think Christie's a heck of a fighter. I think he's a real good fighter. I think he belongs right up there with the top middleweights in the world.
Well, how do you think this one's going to go from what you've seen so far?
Well, so far it looks like it's Christie, but, you know, Sean Mannion has a habit of coming through at the end. I mean, he frustrates the fighters and gets them away from their pattern. He's got to get close to Christie right now. He's got to get close and put his head right on his chest and keep him right there. If he gives him leverage, he's in trouble.
Round 5. And really, it doesn't look as though there's going to be any lack of pace at all in this. If it does go to 10, I think they're going to keep this pace up, Jim.
Yeah, well, I think Mannion only does things the one way, and that's pressure and to keep the rough stuff going.
Referee Van can keep well out of this one. He doesn't have to interrupt this at all. It's doing its own thing, not clinching. So let's see if we can get a quick word with Angelo Dundee while the fight's on with Gary Newbon.
Angelo, what are you telling your boxer?
He's not throwing enough punches. He's covering up a little too much. If he gets busy, he'll take him, untrack him. But see, just doing like he's doing, he's not fighting the fight I want him to fight. And he's not moving to the right like I want him to. But he will. It'll get better as we go along.
Do you want him to close in more on Christie?
Yes, I want him to be a busy about it.
Well, there you are then. Straight from the old horse's mouth himself. So he's still got confidence there that Mannion's going to go on to win anyway, but what a good fight it is. A bit hard to separate them, Jim, isn't it?
Yeah, it did. I think this is the part where Christie's character's been tested now, and seems from here he's doing all right.
Mannion just won't let Christie settle down at all. Christie would quite like to stand off and pick a few punches. And he is at times doing it very well. But as I say, what they call in America a Pier 6 brawl, Mannion likes that. That's the way they do it in Boston. And he boxed as an amateur in Ireland. And he's still eligible as an Irish national to box for the European Championship, Mannion. Because they have a vote. I don't quite know what happened there, I'm sure.
I think Christie thought he heard the bell then.
Yeah, I do too. I've heard a few bells in my time, but I didn't hear that one. As you say, it's going to be the character test now, definitely for Christie, because he's going to need staying power the way this one's going. Oh, good shot there by Mannion right at the end of the round. And they needed to grab Christie quickly to get him back to the stall there. Because he definitely tagged him at the end of that round, Jim. He almost hit him after the bell, but it was a friendly wave, as caught in the action of throwing the punch rather than deliberate.
Yeah, well, thankfully Mannion didn't have enough time to follow that one up. It was just before the bell, but it was a good punch.
Here it is again now. Yep.
When Christie moves out of the clinch, that's where he's been caught. That's when Mannion's at his most dangerous, and that's what happened there. Christie was hurt by that one, but thankfully no time to follow it up.
Into the 8th round of the Schedule 10 with Errol Christie from Coventry in what everybody, well, certainly the critics, regarded as his biggest test. Always accepting that that's a very big domestic match, of course, with Mark Kaler. Highly paid and highly exciting fight. But this is the one that he hopes to get into the world rankings. He's only making number 19 at the moment, Christie. Well, we expected Mannion to come on strong, Jim, but there's no sign of it yet, is there?
Well, we expected the big drive, and his corner at the end of the last round, we're screaming at him to raise the pace and take it to Christie. But he seems even more stationary. Christie's picking him off with lovely jabs, lovely hooks now.
Well, I have to say, Christie all along has said, put me in with the top fighters and I'll raise my game, and he has proved it tonight. Some brilliant stuff coming in. As he likes there, Christie, isn't it? He's really got the measure now. He's had it for quite a while, but he's on top all the time, and Mickey Van is warning Mannion again for roughing it up a bit, Jim.
Mannion's looking very, very weary. He took a perfect left hook in the chin there, and he's looking very stationary now. Not much work coming from Mannion.
Well, I said Mannion a little while ago was blowing a bit hard. The old writers would have said bellows to mend, and he really looks it. So there's a countdown then for the end of the 8th. And it's been very much one way during the 7th and 8th, Christie. And he's simply worn the game Irishman down. Well, 2 rounds there, the last 2 by a mile with Christie, Jimmy.
Yep, the only way I can see Christie losing is if he runs onto something, and Mannion doesn't seem to have the power. Once again, he finished the round, going back to his corner, shaking his head. I don't think Mannion has very much left at all.
And again there in replay, the straight punching, it's been accurate. And really, for a man, as I say, who's been in world class a long time. It's a good performance. Round 9. So 6 minutes to go. Oh, what a way to start the 9th round. He's carrying on where he left off in the 7th and 8th. But as you can see by the expressions there and the gestures of Mannion, he's saying, I'm not finished yet. And this was exactly as he fought Mike McCallum for the championship of the world. So we can get a quick word again with Angelo Dundee as things changed.
Angelo, is Sean going to last the distance?
Well, if he don't do any better this round, he may not last the distance. I may stop it because I don't like the way he's performed. And, you know, all he's doing is taking a licking in there, and I don't like it.
What about Christie's performance?
Christie's excellent. He's doing a great job. If he's fighting a good fight, it's his fight.
Well, there you are. You know it really, certainly before the audience, and I want to go to the referee here, that he might pull him out at the end of this round. I think Mannion might have a little bit of an argument, but he's got to let the boss have it his way, but we'll find out.
It's been a tremendous performance. He hasn't made too many mistakes. He's only really been shaken once right at the end of one of the rounds. But apart from that, never in any trouble. And even yet now, even allowing for the pace that's been going, Christie still has plenty left. Mannion seems to have very little left.
So if a world champion like Mike McCallum can't stop him, you can understand why Christie at this point can't. And if he does at the end of this round, and it's all rather conjecture now, I think young Angelo Dundee looks like he's going to get his way, in my opinion. You don't think so, Jim?
No, I don't think Dundee would pull him out here. I think Mannion's pride would stop him from doing that, but I think he'll probably threaten to pull him out if he doesn't go out in the last round and try to produce something. I'd be very surprised if Dundee pulls him out.
Angelo's the sort of guy that could. He's capable of it. Oh, well, there you are. Come in and let's have a fight, say Mannion, and don't the crowd like it? But I'm not sure in his heart that Mannion does. Look at that. There's the sign of a very tired fighter taking the long way home.
Lou, what's your view on Errol Christie as we go into the last round?
I think Errol Christie is the next middleweight champion of the world. He's the best fighter I've seen in a long time as far as middleweights are concerned. I think he can knock out Hearns right now.
Into round 10. And flattering words indeed from one of the most knowledgeable men in the American fight business, Lou Duva. Remember, managers Terrell Biggs, Mark Breland, Pernell Whitaker, all those great Olympic champions. But the crowd, as they have from the start, have been really trying to get behind Sean Mannion. An absolutely marvellous Irish support here. But Christie has been just magnificent tonight. And all the gesturing from Mannion's not helping him one bit. And now it's Christie's getting into the act. I don't think he needs to do that. It's been too polished for him to resort to the old Ali tricks, Jim.
Yeah, well, I just hope he keeps in mind that Mannion needs a knockout a lot more than he does. Don't take any chances, Christie. It's been a tremendous performance. Don't allow anything to spoil it. Just concentrate on the work. Keep doing as he's been doing all the way through. And don't take any silly chances or get flashed.
Well, maybe he's trying to sell himself to the American television viewers when this is shown now. Oh. You don't often see a British fighter taming one of the top Yanks like that, and I use the word Yanks because, let's face it, it's where he's had all his pro fighting. And it looks as though Mannion, again, having, as I said, stayed the course with a world champion in a title fight, is going to do it okay with Christie. It's the professional's pride of staying the course, Jim, but he's taken some stick.
Yeah, this has been a tremendous performance all the way through from Christie, and I think tonight's performance will probably give him back all the confidence he lost just about this time last year with Kayla. So hopefully Christie can take his career on from here.
well, whatever it is to get this new lease of life, I wish he'd send me the recipe, because he really does look the part. So there it is, the countdown now. No knocked out because the bell would interrupt. And a flying finish indeed by Christie, and a brave one by Mannion. There it is, the automatic decision to Errol Christie. And I have to say, it seems even the Irish supporters are acknowledging that the better man on the night won, and even putting their hands together for him, apart from the Christie supporters club. So you can be one of the great trainers in the world, Angelo Dundee, but unless you've got the classic fighter, you can't always win.